Guys, one thing I notice is a lot of, foul play going on in this thing we call marriage in today in society. Whatever happened to a man and a woman getting together and doing this thing called life together in a union, a civil union called a marriage? When you needed that other person, not only for emotional support, you had to be strong to that person as well too. Whether it's financial holding it down or holding the household, you guys worked as a team. And then the team worked with the larger community. And then we had families here and there, and the community was strong. But one thing I noticed, man, now is everybody's out for self. People are getting married because of what they can get out the next person. And I've seen a lot of situations like where guys, even the top dogs like Dr. Dre, Neo, 50, just Will Smith going through what he's going through with Jada. I don't know these people, but I noticed that there's a high level of disrespect coming from women. And one thing I want to say is I never really understood, me personally, I just want to talk with you guys. Why is it that it seems like the most powerful men out here, the most well-off, well-to-do, or you would say rich men, always fall victim to, I want to say Jezebel spirit or whatever? Why, if you, for example, Steve Harvey, on his third marriage, Marjorie, I wish nothing bad on anybody's marriage, but Marjorie was saying something about the pool boy. Come on, dog. And now she might pull some foul stuff, and then now you're on your fourth marriage. So really, in my personal opinion, it's not so much the fault to the woman or the men. It's that a lot of people get married either for business terms or validation from the family because you're getting pressured to get married, validation for the community, ultimatums that the woman is putting on you to say, hey, if you don't marry me, I'm gonna stop dealing with you. And guys, really it irks me to see this happen all the time. And I've seen it happen to friends and family in my personal life. And I just don't feel as if that woman doesn't respect you, doesn't love you, why would you let a woman do that to you? And so love yourself first, man. And it doesn't matter if that's your friend, girlfriend, wife, fiance, whatever she is to you. Respect her and allow her to respect you, man. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So see, there's two layers to it. I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video. If you follow the biblical line, there's a way you can actually read it and get the context out of it. And I think a lot of guys that claim God or go off the Bible way or say they do, they have no idea what marriage is according to the Bible. There was no license there. You could have like a certificate of divorce, but the main procedure was it's about 4 ways to get married, base ways to get married in the Bible. And then there's some nuances, but the 4 main ways is: 1, the father gave his virgin daughter to you. 2, the father had a virgin daughter who was not betrothed. In other words, she wasn't given away to anybody, right? And you lay with her, and then you're charged to give the dowry of virgins, which is 50 shekels of silver to the father. There's no paper, nothing. She's your wife at that point. As soon as you lay with her, she's your wife. You're responsible for her. And so that's another thing. If you lay with a woman, today's tradition is you could lay with 100 women and none of them are your wives, but the one that you get that state marriage contract to, that's all of a sudden your wife. It's just crazy, man. Think about it. Just because you're married doesn't mean you have a wife. Just because you're not married doesn't mean you don't have a wife or a husband. And you can have both. But some people marry people, for example, I would argue that's not a wife at all. If you follow that line, a wife takes care of the home. She's willing to work. She's there to support you. She is a helpmeet, right? According to the book. But on the other hand of it, these women don't want to do none of that. So you're not only paying for her way, the household, and she don't even want to fulfill her marital duties. So how is that a wife? Just because you have a contract that says it on paper? No, that's not a wife. So another thing, women have been talked out of things to where they have a woman talk you out of saying you don't have a husband because there's no state marriage license. And that is further from the truth. So traditions around the world, and I just read some traditions like in Guatemala, they break the bell and the bell has the rice. And then in Hawaii, they blow that poo shell. And the shell symbolizes the union. But universally recognized around the world is holding of hands, exchanging of rings, etc. None of that you can find in the book as far as the Bible, but these are recognized ways. And depending on where you're at is a different tradition. But none of those traditions say go to the state of X, let the courts proceed over your household. And that is what gets me every single time. You, the state, and your woman. That is a tri-union polygamous situation. And how can you win on that? Because as soon as you sign that contract, what? You give power of the state of wherever you're at over your marriage, not you, not your laws in your household. And so I want to say for the men that have already crossed that line, do the best you can do. Pray that God bless your marriage and, whatever. But for guys who haven't crossed that lane, my advice is do your marriage privately in an own private contract on the terms you and that woman can agree with. That's the only way you get to where you need. Don't worry about all the other stuff, the funerals or whatever. You can contract that out. If you want to share a home with with your wife, put it on paper, put it on the lease or put it on the mortgage or put it on the deed. If you want to split assets, figure that out when the time comes. But marriage starts with love. That's what I think it should start with. And I think a lot of guys, like even Neo now, he's winning. He got 3 women. But he had to drop the wife or the woman he was married to elevate. In other words, why get someone who's using you when you have, more? He's got 3 that cater to him, respect him as a man. So it's not to point fingers. It's just things I've seen over the years and realize, live by the laws and rules of your terms, of your tribe, like the reason why we always fall, and I'm saying me included, the reason why we always fall is because we're following rules and guidelines that weren't created by us, which is why we fall subject to things that happen. And I'm constantly breaking away and learning those things as I live life and see tragic things go on. You learn to live by people's mistakes. And so, shouts out to the men out there who want to do that, but don't allow someone to shame you to say marriage is one way, or that you have to have this thing that gives power over the marriage, gives your woman power over you in the marriage. You don't even have equal footing. You married in California, she has all the divorce proceeding and rights over you. She's going to get the money. She's going to get the house. She's going to get your pension and retirement. So understand what you're getting into. And then if that happens to you, now you're at half. And then when you hit half, when you get to the new woman that you're with and you go through the state marriage license again, now you have to worry about this second wife doing this to you. And then if you decide to go do it again, the third wife may do it to you. And so make sure it's something you want to do. Don't allow someone to pressure you into it for a status symbol. And if that woman really loves you and cares about you, she'll get married to you on your terms, not the terms society set for you. So just remember that. And I'm just saying that with all passion and love. I'm not saying that in a pointing fingers way. I'm saying it because I'm tired of seeing good guys getting hurt. And I didn't really want to touch on like relationships and nothing like that, but because I have way more topics that I'm interested in. But guys, it ain't worth it. If you think that woman loves you, test her, prove her, make sure that she loves you. And if she'll marry you without the state marriage license, even then I wouldn't say go get it, but I say you want to make sure that she would do a prenup, which is unnecessary if you do it the right way, and B, that she marries you on your terms. And for the women out there that may end up seeing this video, I'm not saying that it's a bullying thing. It's a misogynistic thing. It's just that us as men have the responsibility to protect the family, to die, to provide for the family, to continue the lineage and bloodline of our seed. And because of that, we have more responsibility. Therefore, we have more rights. So if you want a traditional man, and I recommend, don't skate by 50-50, man. Because right now, it's a lot of people that's doing bad, was talking about they didn't want a 50-50 man, and now they can't run things on their own. Shoot, if you got a man that's willing to do half of your stuff, shoot, if it was a woman willing to take care of half of my stuff, I'm not rejecting that. Just because they can't pay the whole thing. But don't overlook a man like that. If he's a good man and you run across him, even the book says, in that day, a man shall be like fine, precious gold. Okay? So what that means is good men are going to be few and far between. So if you run across one and you get one, man, hold on to that man, you know? So I don't know, I'm just rambling on. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Just some topics that came to my head. And guys, get married on your own terms. Peace.